Well, the sun's out, so I'm just going to try making up a xenic culture. What I intend to do today is try a larger container, but with a leaf of cape in there. I'm just sort of getting this going again. I'm going to have a leaf of cape and maybe a bit of liverwort and a little inoculum of cyanophyta, because they say that liverworts can't grow. They actually have a nostoc inside them or something growing, basically a cyanophyta in there. And we always see these liverworts on, you know, festooning CP pots sort of thing. And we also see, you know, our cyanophyta. So I'm hoping, if everything is coming together as it appears to be, that we should be able to, you know, do it all in the one thing, and it should all coalesce. As I said, I'm just sort of measuring this out to a certain degree, you know. As I said, I don't want it to be so accurate you have to be, you know, dead on the money sort of thing. I want it with a bit of flexibility to it, you know, so you can just whack in your stuff in here like this. So, you know, anyone can do it, you know, even a basic teenager or something could do something like this. You know, it doesn't have to be too dead on the money. You don't have to have expensive scales and things like that. I want it to be able to be done by the average Joe Blow sort of thing, you know. That's the idea. And I said I found the sort of amount. This seems to be about just slightly over, just proud of level sort of thing. So something like, you know, a bit proud of level sort of thing. Two of those a bit proud of level, and for 600 mils seems to be ideal. Anything more than that, and it's getting a bit tough, you know. But it always gets a bit firmer over time. And then basically, as you can see, we pour in the old water up to the 600 mil mark. Give it a good stir. Doesn't even have to be for about 200, I've noticed. Up to the mark. Okay. Give it a good stir around in there. See, that's better. Now we've got it all in the screen. $18, $19, $100, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $200 hopefully, and then we just quickly pour it in there because we're going to do the whole lot today, and basically just let it cool down. Simple, isn't it? Well, that's the idea anyway. I want simplicity. Simplicity with a bit of perfection. What the heck was that? Something got stuck in there, wasn't it? Oh, I think something must have got bounced in or something. A leaf or something. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's hot in there. And I don't even know whether I should just put the lid on eventually, or even have holes in it, you know. It may be capable of sterilising the container with a reasonable lid on it and a nice, you know, long, almost like a swan net flask or tube, a bit like Pasteur's swan net in a way. We could actually probably engineer one of those eventually if we had like a, you know, delicate plastic melter or something. You just get the plastic to, if it's a not a thermosetting plastic, what's the one that, you know, you can actually mould and reset. If we can have like a straw with that sort of type of plastic in it, we could actually make ourselves a swan neck thing, so it allows the air in but not the dust that contains the so-called germs, in quote, the germ theory of microbiology, or of disease, I said, the germ theory of disease. Yeah, but and all the crud is settling to the bottom, and hopefully we've got a good. That actually might be the secret. Once the mist and the thing has gone away and it's started to solidify, we might have something to actually take some photographs of. And then the idea is to put, say, a bit of inoculum for a cyanophita on one side, a leaf of cape in the middle, and on this side a bit of liverwort. Or maybe we should do inoculum, liverwort, cape. So you know, so the cyanophita can go towards the liverwort, and then from the liverwort we can go to the cape leaf. I don't know. We can always set up many of the. See, that's the thing with science. You can just keep running experiments, and eventually you just build up enough data until the bigger picture finally emerges. But it may take, as I said, like with Darwin, you know, he used 800 Drosophila rotundifolias. You know. Eventually, you know, you get to a stage where the bigger picture emerges, and you know, it takes over from the concept of statistics. You know, and, you know, if you actually do enough work, you've actually the statistics is actually incorporated into the work you've actually done. In a way, if you get my point, my drift, sort of thing. You know, running, you know, small little Mickey Mouse statistics on small sample sizes, you know, maybe actually a negative, you know, you're not actually getting the bigger picture, you know. But by running a big, vast thing, you might actually, the bigger picture might actually emerge out from doing a very large sample size, and think, oh, and it becomes obvious what the answer is, you know. You know, because the statistics is actually incorporated in doing the very large sample size, you know, rather than trying to do all these specialised mathematical tests on smaller and smaller sample sizes. Oh, well, with this bit of mathematics, we can actually have a sample size of this small size. You know, we don't have to do the large, grand scale experiment. Well, sometimes you may actually have to do. Sometimes it's probably easier and faster to actually do the grand scale experiment, just the one grand scale, and the big picture will emerge very easily out of that, because your sample size is just so large, you know. It becomes so obvious, you know, this is what makes the plants go red or something like that. I don't know, but whatever it is, you know, rather than trying to do more with less. I think that's what we've got to this idea that you can do more with less, of the better, more powerful mathematical statistical analysis on a smaller sample size. We can still get the same result, sort of thing, and so you can keep pushing that until you end up like against a brick wall, sort of thing, and you're doing a lot of work and getting little result out of it, sort of thing. Well, sometimes it may pay just to do one single large scale basic empirical type experiment. You know, empirical meaning you go through every single possibility, and you find not only maybe one exception to the rule, you may find a number of exceptions to the rule along the way if you go through every possibility. I mean, that's how Bach approached his music. He used the empirical approach, go through every possibility, and you find, and that's why he's come up with some things are even gone beyond Mozart, because he's just crunched the numbers, basically. He's gone through every one until he's got the best. You know, he's found the best, or he's found the exception to the rule, something. Whereas Mozart's just doing it, you know, doing a 3 or 4 day job, trying to use his mind to sort through, you know. Whereas Bach's taken the scientific approach, and he had more time. He's had like twice the lifetime of Mozart, and you know, he's got that, you know, invention number 13, you know, the one that, you know, who's afraid of the number 13? Well, Bach wasn't. It's probably his best two-part invention, or I think it is anyway, you know. But if you listen to the other two-part inventions, they're okay, but, you know, not on the same immortal scale as number 13. Your number 13 is going to live forever, basically, you know. But to get to number 13, you had to go through the other 12, didn't you, basically? Until you went, you had that aha moment, and it all sort of falls into place, sort of thing. Anyway, this is a bit of a long clip and a bit of a gas bag, but, you know, hopefully, you know, you're getting the idea that, you know, eventually after 40 years of work, you know, you can come down with something that's probably very simple, very rough as guts, but it gets the job done, sort of thing, you know. And we may learn some new things along the way, you know, how it works out in the real world, in bogland or bottomlands, all the bottomland swamps and things like that, you know, what's really going on, you know, out there. It's very simple. It's very predictable now, you know, sort of thing. You know, now you know what's going on. It's very easy to get there to the end of the journey. You just go from A to Z, but it's going through all those other steps in between to find out, you know, what's going on at Z, you know. And now we can jump from A to Z because we've done all the other letters of the alphabet in between, you know, and gone down some dead ends. You know, we've done H, 1, 2, 3 and 4. We've done J, A, B, C and D, you know, side roads that, you know, dead ends and failures and things like that. But now, by going along the alphabet and going off all these side tracks and finally you're using a theory that pushes you along, and suddenly the theory is telling you to go this way, and you know, as I say, it's like firing a cannonball at a tissue paper. It's saying it's going to bounce back, and first of all it doesn't, and suddenly, wow, it does. So the theory is right, but why doesn't it work every time, sort of thing, you know. Eventually we get to Z, you know, and now we know what's going on. You can go from A to Z very quickly. As I said, this is, we just made up Z, you know. Yeah, we then didn't have to go through all the stages in between because we know what's going on, basically. So, you know, that's the power of science, eventually. If it's built, as I said, mainly the trouble with all the letters in between the alphabet was, it's just, A wasn't built on firm foundations. So you kept stumbling and going back to A again, you know. You stumble and go down a dead end and you backtrack and you end up back at A again because A wasn't built on firm foundations. But once it is, you can start getting further down the line of the letters of the alphabet until you eventually keep pushing ahead, and you know, eventually, and then you suddenly see the vision, the end of the tunnel. You can see Z in the distance, and and the theory is telling you that's what Z's all about, and you just don't quite believe it. What? Like a cannonball can bounce off a bit of tissue paper, and you try it, and you think, oh, it's a failure. But then over a number of weeks, bang, you get a moment when that cannonball bounces off the tissue paper, and you're thinking, well, there's some merit to this, there's some ugly merit to this theory, but why doesn't it happen all the time, sort of thing. So anyway, this is a long rant, rave, gas bag, I don't know what you mean. Just wait for this bloody thing to cool down. I could shift it around, I suppose, onto a bit of coal, a bit of concrete. But, anyway, over and out, and I'll set it up in a minute and we'll see how we go. Okay, see ya.